The Trump administration announced plans on Monday to limit the number of admitted refugees to 30,000 a year. That would be 15,000 less people than the current ceiling and the lowest cap since the refugee program was created in 1980.
We propose resettling up to 30,000 refugees under the new refugee ceiling.
And the US is probably not even going to admit that many. The number of admitted refugees for the current fiscal year, which is almost over, is 21,000. That's not even half the cap. And while the slashing of the refugee program is in line with the Trump administration's efforts to curb legal and illegal immigration, it still comes at a time when the global refugee population is reaching record highs. So as the number of people displaced by war and famine is surging, the US is scaling back its refugee resettlement program at a faster pace than any other country. In fact, for the first time since 1980, the US resettled fewer refugees in 2017 than the rest of the world combined. It's important to note that these numbers don't take into account the millions of asylum seekers who have migrated to Europe by sea or crossed the southern US border in recent years. As opposed to refugees who must first obtain permission to resettle, asylum seekers migrate to their destination first and then apply for the right to stay. And the Trump administration has also attempted to slash the rapidly growing number of new asylum claims. In July, Attorney General Jeff Sessions announced asylum application based on fear of gang and domestic violence would be rejected. There is no cap on asylum grants in the US, and over the past decade, roughly 20,000 to 25,000 people have received asylum protections every year, according to the most recent government data. As for the suggested new refugee cap, if confirmed, it would go into effect at the start of the new fiscal year on October 1st. In defending the plan, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said that while the US will continue to be, quote, the most generous nation in the world, it's also important to dedicate enough time to thoroughly vet all applicants.